I'm here with Rick Johnston, who's bringing an additional particular aspect to this UFO conference here. And Rick, first of all, what do you do professionally?
I'm a senior programmer analyst in Detroit, Michigan.
So you're involved with the high-tech industry,
yeah.
Real world stuff.
Real world stuff.
Okay. Now, what's your particular skew involved with the UFO phenomenon?
Well, I recently, in the past few years, I had a close encounter, the first kind of sighting. Soon after that, I started to meet contactees and abductees, other researchers. A lot of information started being put in front of me. A very, very close friend of mine, I discovered, who at first just had what was thought of as a sighting. It turned out that she was in fact abducted. And in working with her, that spurred on my research. Finally, I got more and more into the metaphysical aspect of the whole thing. In turning negative abduction cases, like in her case, around to a self-empowerment and very, very positive side.
Novel idea.
Yeah. Which is, and I think metaphysically speaking, this is, what we have to keep in mind is that no one is truly a victim, that we create our own reality. If we are operating on a frequency of fear, on a frequency of victimization and powerlessness, and what we are doing is calling for a demonstration of that, which the aliens are more than happy to accommodate, some of them.
Sure.
And, but there are laws. They have a technologically advanced civilization. What's to stop them from just taking over? Because they do have the technology to do that, but they haven't. Well, that implies that...
Could we say that there is a prime directive involved?
We could say that there are certain laws that they have to abide by. And one of them is the law that says that a sentient being can determine what they want to experience and when they want to experience it.
For our viewers, describe sentient being.
Sentient being, how about if I just say a divine manifestation of God's life. Life
in human form.
In human form.
Like you or I.
Yes.
Okay.
And there's a lot of power implied in that definition that
Sure.
we just have to become aware of.
Power that most of us have not accepted within ourselves at this point. You're talking about self-empowerment.
Right.
How are you accomplishing that within these individuals?
One individual had a profound internalized feeling that she was going to be abducted again. She started seeing visions. She saw one in my apartment at one point. It was a 6-foot-tall giant with big eyes and that sort of thing.
This tall is not that. I mean, you're 6 foot.
Yeah, but he was about 6 foot wide at the same time. It was a manifestation of her fear. Okay, and this is what she was calling for. In turning her around in that, gradually that feeling left her, and she became more and more self-empowered. Recently, she's been having contacts with a different type of a positive nature. That's been very, very reassuring for her, and as she changed her vibration, the events in her life started changing.
So this is the reification of her change in attitude.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, in hearing what you were talking about earlier, you were also involved with studying what some call the Illuminati.
Right.
Could you elaborate on that a little bit?
Well,
what are they?
The Illuminati is a secret society that is the secret society within all secret societies. It is a hierarchy. It can be looked upon. Two analogies I like to make is an onion, and with many different layers, with different names, many different organizations covering the core. That small little clique, who are the proverbial they that you always hear of. They're doing this, they're doing that. Who in the hell are they? the recent film JFK, it doesn't so much tell you who killed him, but who didn't kill him. Still, the question of they is still there.
Right.
It has another way of looking at it is a pyramid, similar to the pyramid on the dollar bill. As a matter of fact, the pyramid on the dollar bill does symbolize the Illuminati. Four-sided.
Was it
with a base
intended to
of
do
secrecy.
that to begin with?
Oh yeah, yeah. 1776, which is at the bottom of the pyramid on the dollar bill, was the year the Illuminati started. And it has its origins in extraterrestrials. It is extraterrestrial inspired.
Something that we need to fear?
Well, it isn't if you are aware of your own self-empowerment.
A conditional if.
But if you aren't, then yeah, you should be afraid of your own shadow in that case, because even that will trip you up.
Right.
But the laws are the same with them as they are with everything. That's the big trick of life that only now humanity is discovering.
Why now? Why not 50 years ago?
Well, actually, about 60 years ago, there was a man who came into the black community in Detroit, a very, very mysterious man who started teaching about self-empowerment. His name was Farad. He started a whole new paradigm, a whole new way of thinking.
Was he a contactee?
He was a very mysterious man. He also spoke of wheels in the sky, giant wheels. He made references, an analogy to the vision of Ezekiel.
Okay.
And he also mentioned that there were smaller little baby wheels upon that. He called them mother planes. This was prior to, of course, the coining of the phrase flying saucer. The only thing we knew that flew was a plane, so this is a flying circular plane. And this whole thing about New Age is really a misnomer, though, because the teachings that are at the basis of metaphysics, that is, you create your own reality, and that thought shapes matter, goes back to antiquity. And it was something that we have forgotten, and a lot of it is based on your own conscious and subconscious beliefs and motivations and what you think you can do.
Might we say that all the information that's present today, organized religion, churches, belief systems, whatever that be, was designed to disempower people in order to keep them in line?
Well, it's kind of like the Tower of Babel. Let us go down and confound their speech, to divide them, to divide larger and larger groups of humanity. How
are we coming together, in your eyes?
We're coming together by getting past a lot of the traditional concepts of religion. For example, there is a Islamic minister in New York who's got the rest of the Islamic community in the Middle East very, very upset with him because he says that Prophet Muhammad was in contact with extraterrestrials. It's rather radical. Religiously speaking, if you really read the scriptures, you're hard-pressed to find anywhere where Abraham or Moses said he was a Jew. You're hard-pressed to find anywhere where Jesus or any of his apostles said that they were Christians. All these little terms and names that we've come up with, when you really get into it and really read the books and the scriptures, you find that they were all basically teaching the same thing, from Abraham, Buddha, to Muhammad. And that is just doing the right thing, as they say, God's will, doing the will of God. What is the will of God? It's that little spark of God within us that tells us when the right thing is to do.
And we can sense that.
And we can sense that. There was a minister who was troubled, and he went to his elder, and he says, "Well, I've got this little girl who's 13 years old, and she's pregnant, so we're going to have to give her some time out of the community." And he says, "But she says that she didn't know it was wrong." And the older minister said, "Don't you let her put that over on you. Ask her where she did this act. And if she had to find if she did it out in the open, then she didn't know. If she had to find a dark place where nobody was looking, then she knew exactly what she was doing." That's an example of of that intuition that's inside of us. One of the things we have to do is move out of the logical mind. It will deceive you. It will tell you you didn't see what you saw. It wants to maintain control. It wants control and it wants security. Okay? We have to move out of that as the ultimate authority and start relying more on our intuitions, our feelings, and that sort of thing. That's where the true knowledge of the future is going to come.
Rick, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Again, thank you. You make your own decision.